Okay, hello. Love to Surf here with a quick video for all of you Fi23 owners out there. We got our boat about 2 or 3 months ago, and we just started tinkering around with a couple mods, trying to find ways to make the experience that much more enjoyable. Don't get me wrong, I think that the way the boat comes from the factory is absolutely fantastic. It's our third Centurion, and we are overly impressed by the boat. But that being said, we started to find a couple areas where we thought we could change things up a little bit. So figured it'd be fun to start a discussion and maybe start documenting on video some of these mods, and hopefully have you guys share some of your experiences too, so we can make the most out of them. So anyway, just a couple of things that I wanted to go through today, some of the mods that we've made. We upgraded our wheels, and we've also bought about 500 or so pounds of lead, but I'm not going to bother chatting about that today because we haven't really had the time to play around with balancing to see what's going to get the best wave. But I thought today instead I'd show you some of the more functional modifications we made, and not necessarily crucial mods, but I think they're fun and I think they improve the experience. So you'll have to let me know what you think and hopefully share yours too. So anyway, getting started, first one is here on the back with these rear lockers. We just call them ram boxes. They're kind of reminiscent of the ram boxes on the Dodge 1500 and so on. But those of you who have had time on the Fi23 will know that these are pretty substantial. They're a heavy grade metal, and they weigh quite a bit. So just thinking that one of my younger kids may end up dropping this on a foot and who knows, taking out a toe or something like that. The first was to just support this with some gas struts, some little shocks there. Quick and easy little mod, but turned out to be pretty useful. It has a really nice actuation to it, and it's super smooth. Took a little bit of time to figure out the right PSI on the shock, and I mounted a bracket behind this plastic cover just to make it look a little neater, but worked out really nicely. And great place we found as you're entering the boats for your guests and whoever to throw their shoes and other items in there, so you're not having to store those under seats. So that's a pretty fun one. Anyway, moving on inside the boat. The other two mods I wanted to show you are more driver orientated. So they're up here at the helm. The first of them being the ignition. So the Fi23 comes with a regular 3-position keyed ignition, and we noticed, I think it was our first time out, that as soon as you went to kill the motor, it would cut power to your accessories, and just kind of an inconvenient thing, because if you're cranking your tunes and you don't really want to have an interruption in your music, then we found you had to cycle through those stages again. Now, in looking for a solution, in fairness, there was a way to still keep or retain the factory keyed ignition and just repair it with one of those stages. But this push button approach I thought was a lot neater. Kind of like the look of it, blends a little bit better with everything. So what we have here is a 3-stage. First click. Well, let me turn the battery on real quick. Okay, so first click gets your stereo going. Second will light everything else up, get your screen and the remainder of your accessories. And then if you long press, you'll start the motor. Nice thing is that when you're cruising, surfing, you got your music pumping. If you kill the motor, your sound and your accessories will stay on. So nice 3-position switch, and overall really happy with the way this turned out. These were available in different colors. There was green, red and blue. We decided to go with the green just because everything else is blue, so kind of just made it stand out a little bit, so just out the corner of your eye you kind of know that this is where your finger kind of has to gravitate towards for the power switch. So really happy with the way that one turned out. The next one is the phone holder. This one I really like. One We have an iPhone, and there's plenty of other phones out there. More and more of them now are all compatible with wireless charging, so I figured this would be a great place to integrate that. So bought a wireless charging unit online on Amazon, ripped the thing apart and just took the parts that I needed, discarded the rest of them. So quite a neat install, just kind of kept it as factory looking as possible, but like the way that this turned out. Really cool thing about this is that as far as power goes, just behind this panel and the dash is not far at all, is the USB receiver for when you update the firmware for the screen. And so it was the ideal place to run the power cable, since it was a USB cable. So that's where we're drawing power from now, just with the thought that we're only really going to use that port when it comes time to upgrading the firmware. So this is a pretty neat little mod. Let me see if I can do this hands-free. But so here's my phone. You just open it up, pop it in. Oh, power has to be on, I guess. And there you go. So as you can see, we've got the little charge icon up there, so the phone's charging. So works pretty well. Take it out, charge stops, pop it back in, and we're good to go. So pretty handy, nice, considering most people are playing their tunes from their phone, this is a great way to keep the functionality installed, keep your phone charged all day. So there's that. The last one I wanted to go over was these covers. So this one was pretty interesting. This was actually the first one that I did, but first time I sat in the boat, if you're familiar with the Fi23, these are actually just plain aluminum plates. So I couldn't help but thinking that they looked like an afterthought, that there was another purpose for them. So I took them off, and I found these. I don't know if you can kind of see through, but there was these circular cutouts in the back plates, which led me to believe that there was some other function, in place of these plain plates. So did a little research, went around in the back, and found that the heater unit actually has a third unused port. So two of them are being used in this boat. We have one down there, one on the side, and then we had a third one that just wasn't in use. So I thought to myself, well, I wonder if these were originally intended to be heater vents. So went and did a little digging. This was fun. Let me grab my manual here, and if you look at the Centurion owner's dash manual, mine got soaked here, but there's a photo from one of the prototype boats, one of the early builds, and I caught this. I saw that, hey, wait, these look like cutouts, and you can see the design, the hexagonal design is consistent with what's on the ram fill vents and so on. So anyway, took this picture down to a local machine shop that had a wet jet cutter and had them cut them out. Turned out really nicely. I have actually bought the plumbing since then, so there's a Y adapter and a reducer. This goes from 2-inch to a 3-inch, and then I've got that soft flex tube. Honestly, just haven't had the time to hook it up yet, but as soon as I get the chance to do that, these will actually be functional heater vents. But even without the functionality, I think that they look a whole lot better than just the plain plates. So that was another fun one. Anyway, that's all for now. So we had the rear latches, the ignition, the wireless charger, and the vents. Couple other things that I've got going on that I'm working on at the moment that I'll do another follow-up video up for. I have some hinges for these rear seats, working on an integrated cooler, and a place to put a trash can as well. Other than that, going to just play around with the ballast settings and try and find the perfect balance for 500 pounds and just see what we can do with the waves. So yeah, that's it for now. I just wanted to get this video started and kind of get things rolling. So give your comments. Let me know what you think, and even better, please share any mods that you guys have made or any experiences that you've had, positive or negative, with the Fi23, and let's keep the discussion rolling. Alright, cheers.